The envelope was still warm from her hands when she dropped it on the kitchen counter. Warm, and stained with something that looked suspiciously like a fingerprint smudged by sweat. "We need to talk," she said, voice too steady to be honest. I knew that tone. It had the same brittle edge glass gets right before it shatters. The house smelled faintly of her perfume, jasmine and something citrusy, mixed with the metallic tang of the rainstorm she'd walked in from. She wouldn't meet my eyes. That was the first blow, quiet but devastating. My heart thudded, heavy and offbeat, as I picked up the envelope. A medical lab logo glared up at me. "Just read it," she whispered. My throat tightened. I'd expected maybe a confession about drinking too much at the wedding, or another fight about the distance growing between us. Not this. My fingers trembled as I tore open the seal and slid out the report. Positive. Not for anything minor. Something you only get through intimate contact. My breath left my body like someone had punched it out of me. The kitchen blurred. A ringing filled my ears. "I'm so sorry," she said, voice cracking as she finally looked at me. Her eyes were bright, bottomless, terrified. "I didn't mean for anything to happen. It was stupid. It was one night. I didn't think." "You didn't think what?" The words scraped out of me raw. That I'd ever find out? That consequences magically skip houses with mortgages? She flinched. I hated myself for noticing how small she looked, arms wrapped around her own ribs like she was afraid she might crumble. "It was after the reception," she said. "I had too much champagne. He followed me outside. We talked. We danced. And she swallowed. I wasn't myself." It was almost laughable. She'd been more herself than ever. Unguarded, reckless, honest in ways she hadn't been with me in months. My mind spun through 1,000 memories. Her late-night texts she brushed off as work friend stuff. The sudden gym sessions, the new dress she'd claimed was on sale. Red flags I'd painted white because loving her meant making excuses. I steadied myself on the counter, knuckles white. "His name," I said. "Tell me." She hesitated. That was enough to confirm what I already feared. I knew him. Not well, but enough. Enough to feel the betrayal twist a little deeper. And I knew his wife. Especially his wife. The next morning, after hours of pacing and bargaining with myself, I picked up my phone and typed a simple message. "We should talk. It's important." She replied instantly. "Come over." Her house was immaculate, quiet except for the slow tick of a wall clock that suddenly felt accusatory. She offered me tea, but my hands were shaking too badly to hold the cup. "What's going on?" she asked, brows creased in gentle concern. She was always gentle. She didn't deserve what I was about to place in her hands, yet she deserved the truth more than anyone. I slid the lab report toward her. She read it once. Then again. Her expression didn't break immediately. It folded slowly, like fabric collapsing in on itself. Tears welled, not from shock but recognition. "He told me it was me," she whispered. "That I gave it to him." My stomach churned. And then something happened I didn't expect. She straightened, wiped her face, and looked at me with a calmness that felt surgical. "Thank you," she said. "You didn't have to show me this. But now I know exactly what kind of man I'm married to." I nodded, throat tight. She slid the report back to me but kept a photocopy for herself. "I think," she said with an eerie steadiness, "that our spouses have no idea who they just made enemies of." In that moment, standing in her pristine kitchen with the sound of that relentless ticking clock, I realized the real betrayal wasn't the infidelity. It was the lie that we were powerless. And that, I suspected, was the mistake they would regret most.